course on Cybrary on Demand. If you're watching this video, you are at the beginning of a fantastic intermediate Python course. And I'm not just saying that because I am the instructor, though I am. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe Perry. I'm the Director of Research here at Cybrary, which means that I get to spend most of my days creating videos like this and performing research to help people like you expand your knowledge and build your careers. I personally have been a developer, a software engineer, a vulnerability analyst, an exploit developer, a cybersecurity researcher. I've done basically everything in cybersecurity and IT, and a lot of it twice. I am formerly of the United States federal government. I worked in the Department of Defense for most of a decade. I've worked with most of the three-letter agencies throughout the intelligence community. I've worked in a lot of research and development shops, which has given me the familiarity that I need to help you guys learn about Python and learn about programming as a discipline. So I'm very excited to be here using that sort of skill set that I've gotten to build to help you build it yourself. You can find me on Twitter at Joseph R. Perry IV1 under the handle of Crippling Securities. You can additionally find me on LinkedIn at that link. It might be that way. It's hard to keep your bearings when you're doing this picture-in-picture kind of thing. But either way, we will have that link on these slides, which will be available as supplemental materials. Additional supplemental materials, we're going to be working out of an Ubuntu 64-bit VM. We've got Vim, pip, and Terminator. For those of you who've seen my videos before, you know that's sort of the baseline. I'm going to have that on pretty much any VM that I'm working with. We do have some exercises. We have a phenomenal lab provided by NextTech, which if you took our Intro to Python course, you know, and you're an insider, and you know how spectacular those labs are, how valuable and how useful. If you're not an insider and you don't have access to Cybrary's labs, that's okay. We are still going to give out the lab assignments and some solution code so that you can look through that. You just won't have quite as much hands-on, with the specialized tools to help you learn. You'll still have the ability to work on it on your own and check it against our solution code, so no worries there. Additionally, at the end of every lesson, we're going to do a periodic knowledge check just to review everything that we've covered in that lesson and make sure that you got all of the high points. After every module, we'll do a review and summary where we just quickly touch on every topic in that module. And then at the very end of the course, we're going to have a final assessment that's just going to be a long list of the things we've discussed with some questions and knowledge checks built into that. So we're going to have basically anything that could possibly help verify your learning and make you feel more comfortable with this programming language. It's going to be in our supplemental materials. So the prerequisites for this course, unlike a lot of the courses on Cybrary and a lot of the courses that I've taught, this is not an intro course. This is a course that is for people who are at least reasonably familiar with the language and with programming. So you're going to need a computer because you're going to be programming. You are going to need to be familiar with the Linux command terminal. You can kind of get away with not having that knowledge, but it's going to be very challenging at times. It's helpful to be familiar with VMs. I'm going to be working out of a VM. I recommend you do the same because we are going to be using some operating system functionality, which means that it is possible to write code badly enough to damage your operating system, which is never a good thing to do on your host machine. Additionally, you really want to be familiar with the basic Python concepts, the things that we covered in our Intro Python course and that most Intro Python courses will cover. Python functions, the different Python data types, numbers, lists, strings, and dictionaries, how to create and use scripts, how to write your hello world and things like that. That information is just not something we have time to cover in a series like this or in a course like this. So it's highly recommended that you've taken our intro course. And then between that and this, you've taken some time off to really focus on just practicing with Python, getting familiar with it, exploring the language a little bit, and getting your own sort of base grounding with it. That's going to make this course a lot easier to understand, and it's going to mean that you're going to get a lot more out of it. So our learning objectives, our 3 core objectives for this course, which is the video content of this course is going to be about an hour and a half to 2 hours. We're going to cover 3 core topics. We're going to perform input and output tasks with Python. We're going to understand and use Python classes, which are one of the most powerful aspects of Python that we just could not touch in an intro course, just because they can get very complex very quickly. So we're going to spend a bunch of time on those. And then we're going to learn how to create Python modules, the things that we're going to be importing in order to use in these programs that you've probably imported yourself. We're going to learn how to create those and make our code more easily reusable. So are you in the right place? Well, there are a few questions for that. Have you completed our Intro to Python course or a course similar to it? Are you familiar with the core concepts of Python programming? Again, functions, scripts, and data types are going to be essential. Flow control is another thing that you're really going to want to understand. Do you want to expand your understanding of the language? Do you feel like you've got a good grounding and you want to take the next step? And of course, and most importantly, are you excited to learn a new skill? That excitement, I say it all the time, I talk about it all the time. I'm usually very excited in these videos because it's going to make or break your learning experience. About if you're more excited, if you're more enthusiastic, you will be more successful. And that's just an objective fact. So hopefully you're excited to learn new skills. Hopefully at least one of these other bullets apply to you, because in that case you are in the right place, and we are thrilled to have you here. So over the course of our 3 modules, we're going to be again talking about I/O classes and, of course, modules. Module 3 is what I jokingly call the module. In Module 1, we're going to talk about user input, file I/O, and interfacing with the operating system. Module 2, we're going to learn how to implement classes. We're going to learn about iterators and generators, which are complex data structures in Python. And then we're going to learn about exceptions, which are absolutely fundamental core parts of being a skilled and advanced programmer. And then in Module 3, we're going to do a deep dive on modules, see how they're constructed, see what they look like. We're going to learn how to create modules. And then we're going to have Lesson 3, which probably doesn't belong in Module 3, but I liked the symmetry there. It'll be our overall course summary and review. So that's all there is for this intro video. Hopefully you're ready to get started, and hopefully you're at least half as excited as I am about this intermediate Python course. Again, I'm your instructor, Joe Perry, and when you come back to our next video, we're going to be talking about input and output in the Python programming language. So I'll see you back in our next video on Cybrary on Demand.